Somewhere beneath the surface of the world, where sunlight dissolves into shadow and silence wraps around you like a second skin, there exists a realm that humanity has barely begun to understand. I am Suzi Scuba, and I have spent more time beneath the waves than above them. What I have witnessed down there, the shifting colors, the ancient formations, the creatures that move like living secrets, has convinced me of one undeniable truth. The ocean is not finished with us yet. In fact, it is only just beginning to reveal itself. And the story of how we will explore it in the years ahead reads less like a scientific report and more like a mystery novel, full of unexpected twists, hidden chambers, and discoveries that will leave even the most seasoned diver breathless. The future of scuba diving is not simply about going deeper or staying longer. It is about a fundamental transformation in how human beings relate to the underwater world. Technologies are emerging that would have seemed like pure fantasy even a decade ago. The ocean itself is changing, warming, shifting, whispering warnings we are only now learning to hear. And the community of divers, scientists, and ocean advocates is responding with a quiet urgency that feels, at times, like the tension before the final chapter of a very long and very important story. For decades, the mechanics of scuba diving have remained largely unchanged. A tank of compressed air, a regulator, a mask, and the courage to descend. But beneath the surface of the diving industry, something remarkable is stirring. Rebreather technology, once reserved for military divers and deep-sea researchers, is now making its way into the hands of recreational divers. Unlike traditional open-circuit systems that release exhaled breath as bubbles, rebreathers recycle the air you breathe, scrubbing out carbon dioxide and replenishing oxygen in a continuous loop. The result is a dive that is quieter, longer, and far less disruptive to marine life. Imagine descending into a coral garden and hovering in absolute silence, not a single bubble rising above you, while a school of barracuda circles close enough to touch. That is the rebreather experience, and it is becoming more accessible with every passing year. But the innovation does not stop there. Researchers are actively developing what some are calling artificial gill technology, devices capable of extracting dissolved oxygen directly from the water, much like a fish does. Early prototypes have shown genuine promise, though the engineering challenges remain formidable. If perfected, such a device could theoretically allow a diver to breathe underwater indefinitely, without carrying any air supply at all. The implications are staggering. The boundary between human and ocean would blur in ways that feel almost mythological. And yet, the science is real, the laboratories are active, and the patents are being filed. The mystery of how far this technology will go is one that even the most informed experts cannot yet fully answer. Vision underwater has always been a compromise. Masks create a barrier, water distorts light, and beyond a certain depth, color vanishes entirely. Red disappears first, then orange, then yellow, until the world becomes a study in blue and gray. But new optical technologies are beginning to restore what the ocean takes away. Advanced dive masks equipped with heads-up displays are already in development, capable of projecting real-time data directly into the diver's field of vision. Depth, temperature, navigation, even species identification powered by artificial intelligence. Imagine gliding past a coral formation and having the name of every organism appear before your eyes, like subtitles in a film you never expected to be watching. Augmented reality in diving is not a distant dream. It is a prototype sitting in a laboratory right now, waiting for the moment it becomes small enough, durable enough, and affordable enough to change everything. Underwater photography and videography are also undergoing a quiet revolution. Low-light camera sensors are becoming extraordinarily sensitive, capable of capturing footage in near-total darkness, at depths that would have been impossible to document just a few years ago. The creatures that live in the twilight zone, that mysterious band of ocean between 200 and 1,000 meters, are finally being seen clearly for the first time. And what is being found there defies imagination. Bioluminescent organisms that pulse like living lanterns, fish with transparent bodies and upward-facing eyes, creatures so alien in appearance that they seem to belong to another planet entirely. The ocean has been hiding its most extraordinary residents in plain sight, and technology is finally pulling back the curtain. But no story of the future can be told honestly, without acknowledging the shadows that gather at its edges. The ocean is under extraordinary pressure. Coral reefs, which support roughly 25% of all marine life despite covering less than 1% of the ocean floor, are bleaching and dying at a rate that should alarm every person who has ever looked into the water and felt wonder. Rising ocean temperatures, driven by climate change, are the primary culprit. When water becomes too warm, corals expel the algae that give them both color and nutrition, turning white, and, if the stress continues, dying entirely. The Great Barrier Reef has experienced multiple mass bleaching events in recent years. The Caribbean reefs are a shadow of what they were even 30 years ago. For divers, this is not an abstract environmental statistic. It is a personal loss, like returning to a beloved library and finding half the books have been burned. The chemistry of the ocean is also changing. As the atmosphere absorbs more carbon dioxide, the oceans absorb it too, becoming more acidic in a process called ocean acidification. This makes it harder for shellfish, corals, and many other organisms to build and maintain their calcium carbonate structures. The architecture of the underwater world is literally dissolving. And yet, within this crisis, there is also a story of remarkable resilience and innovation. Scientists and divers are not standing idle. They are fighting back with tools and techniques that carry the unmistakable scent of hope. Coral restoration has become one of the most active and emotionally charged frontiers in marine conservation. Coral nurseries now exist in dozens of locations around the world, where fragments of heat-resistant coral are grown on underwater frames before being transplanted back onto damaged reefs. The work is painstaking, almost meditative. Divers hovering for hours, carefully attaching tiny coral fragments to bare rock, knowing that each one represents a small act of defiance against a very large problem. Some researchers are going further, selectively breeding corals that can withstand higher temperatures, essentially attempting to accelerate the evolutionary process in response to a crisis that is moving faster than nature alone can handle. Citizen science is also playing an increasingly vital role. Recreational divers equipped with underwater cameras and simple data collection apps are contributing to global databases that track reef health, species populations, and the spread of invasive organisms. Every dive becomes a data point. Every photograph becomes evidence. The diver who once came to the ocean purely for pleasure is now, almost without realizing it, becoming a scientist, a witness, and a guardian. Underwater drones and autonomous vehicles are extending the reach of human observation into places no diver can safely go. These robotic explorers can descend to depths of several thousand meters, mapping the ocean floor with extraordinary precision and collecting samples from environments that remain almost entirely unknown. The data they return is reshaping our understanding of ocean geography, biology, and chemistry in real time. And still, for all of this technology, for all of this effort and ingenuity, the ocean keeps its deepest secrets close. More than 80% of the world's oceans remain unmapped, unexplored, and largely unknown. The deep ocean floor is less understood than the surface of Mars. There are trenches in the Pacific that plunge to depths of nearly 11,000 meters, where the pressure is more than 1,000 times that of the surface, and where life, improbably, stubbornly, magnificently, still exists. What else is down there waiting in the dark? What species have never been seen? What geological formations? What chemical processes? What biological mysteries remain entirely beyond our current reach? The future of scuba diving is, in many ways, the future of human curiosity itself. It is the story of a species that cannot resist the pull of the unknown, that looks at a dark and fathomless expanse and feels not fear, but fascination. The technologies emerging today will carry the next generation of divers into waters and depths that are currently inaccessible. The environmental challenges pressing upon the ocean now will define what those divers find when they get there. And the choices being made in laboratories, in policy rooms, and on the decks of research vessels will determine whether the ocean of the future is a place of wonder or of warning. I am Suzi Scuba, and I have seen enough of the deep to know that it holds more stories than we have yet imagined. The next chapter is being written right now, in the silence beneath the surface, where the light fades and the mystery begins. Dive carefully. Dive curiously. The ocean is watching.